captain. So climb aboard. We'll search for tomorrow. On every show. And I'll try. Oh Lord, I'll try to
Hey, and welcome to episode 11 of the Set Sail podcast. My name is Ross, and today we are going to be talking about interview microphones. And what that means is there's kind of different kinds. There's handheld, there's shotgun microphones that are typically used in like a video kind of talking head type of shot. There's lavalier microphones. So we'll highlight some of the different options, mostly focused on the handheld type, but we'll go through all of them for you. And you will know what the best interview microphones are for your podcast, probably, but for lots of purposes. If you want to create YouTube videos or just other marketing material where you need to record great audio, these are awesome options. So, there's lots of different ways to record interviews. So you can be outside or inside, you can be sitting, standing, you can be spur of the moment, you can be walking around at a conference like Podcast Movement and, just need to get a quick thought or interview of someone that you see. That would require different gear than something where it's, you're sitting down and you have it all set up. So just something to think about. It's different equipment for different uses, and that kind of makes all the difference. So we're going to start with those handheld interview microphones, and it's kind of things you see on TV. A lot of reporters will use. So let's get into it. There's different kinds. So there's different kinds of pickup patterns. There's omnidirectional, so it picks up from all sides, and that makes it easier for someone to not be in like the exact perfect position while they're interviewing someone. But they are more susceptible to picking up background noise, so you have to be a little more careful there. And there's also dynamic handheld interview microphones, and those are great because I'm comparing two different things. But there's dynamic mics, and they don't need a battery or phantom power, which is nice. You don't have to worry about those running out. And then going back a step here, there's also cardioid directional pickup patterns. So those you'll have to make sure are pointed right at someone's mouth when you're recording or interviewing. And then you'll need to make sure, if you have one microphone, you'll need to make sure you point it back at your mouth when you're talking. So there can be they drop off easily if you're not pointing them in the exact right spot. So, but they're less susceptible to picking up that background sound. So just some trade-offs there. Now we can get into some of the options here. The first one is the Rode Reporter. It's got a nice long handle. It's an omnidirectional dynamic mic, and it includes a mic flag, so you can put your brand or podcast right on it. It's kind of cool. So it has a non-reflective matte finish, so it won't be really distracting on camera. I don't pick up a lot of that glare, which is actually really important because you want people to be focused on the message or the person maybe you're interviewing, and not a microphone that's like blinding them. So little things to think about if you're going to be on camera that might not be so obvious. Another popular one here is the Electro Voice RE50/B, and it is an omnidirectional dynamic mic as well. Has an internal shock mount. It's very durable, and they also have another model with it's the RE50ND, and it's a little more sensitive, so it has a higher output level there. Uses some different magnets inside of it. Next is the Sennheiser MD46, and this one is a cardioid dynamic mic. So it has that directional pickup pattern, and it does really well for reducing all that background sound. It has a really low handling noise. It's made all metal, and it has a double layered grill to prevent plosives and those kind of sharp air sound go from sneaking into the microphone element. So that's pretty nice there. A popular one also is the Beyer Dynamic M58. It's an omnidirectional dynamic mic, nice long handle. Let's keep moving. Electro Voice 635 NDB is another omnidirectional mic. It uses a neodymium, might have butchered that, magnet for higher output levels. And this mic is designed for high humidity and extreme temperatures. So it's really good for interviewing outdoors because microphones can be really susceptible to either messing up or just completely failing in some of those more extreme conditions. So imagine you're out interviewing someone in a hurricane or something. So, or just even parts of the country or world that just have high humidity or real high or low temperatures. Not great for microphones. So getting something that can handle those is important, something to think about ahead of time. And here's another cool one. It is a real long-handled microphone, so great to be able to reach, those basketball players that you're interviewing, or just someone where you want to give them a little space. It's the Audio-Technica AT8004L. L is for that long handle. It's basically 9.5 inches long, and has an omnidirectional pickup pattern. And usually runs just over $100 for that. It's a nice balance of price and quality, I think. Another one is the Shure VP64A, and it's a great value, under $100. It's omnidirectional, dynamic, that neodymium magnet, and has a water-resistant grill, which is a nice touch as well. So that's kind of the rundown of the handheld interview mics. And be sure to go to setsailpodcast.com/11 to see pictures of these and links to go pick one up for yourself if you are going to be doing lots of interviewing and want something like that. And you'll also see the rest of the mics I'm about to mention. So setsailpodcast.com/11. Next, we have the handheld interview mic accessories. So these are kind of add-ons or ways to make them be used with different devices. So the first is the RodeLink News Shooter Kit, and it basically turns your XLR microphone into a wireless version. So it has a little receiver or transmitter, one of those. It sticks into the bottom of the mic, and then you pair it with another piece, and that piece can be connected into a digital audio recorder. It can be hooked into a DSLR or basically any video camera, or it can be hooked into a field recorder. Any system you can kind of make it wireless. So it's really cool and highly recommended way to just make things much easier on you if you're going to be doing a lot of interviewing. Another cool accessory from Rode is the iXLR. So it plugs in to these interview mics just like the News Shooter Kit, but it has a Lightning connection on the other end. So it's meant to be used with an iPhone, and it has a couple different options. It has headphone jack for monitoring. It has headphone volume control. It even has a pad switch, so that will lower the input by 20 decibels. And yeah, it kind of does all the conversion stuff to make your iPhone a mobile digital audio recorder, which is really cool. So it's highly recommend it. It's not cheap. I think it's around $150 if I remember correctly. Yep. But if you have plenty of space on your phone, or it's what you have on you, so you only need one small little accessory and a microphone, and you can record anything you want, which is awesome. So avoid the kind of cheaper XLR to mini jack converters, because they just don't work. We'll just keep it at that. You want something that does the conversion in a proper way. So check that out if that sounds cool. Another couple options here. Now we're moving on to some different types of microphones, and specifically shotgun interview microphones. And these are used on camera a lot. So there's the first one is the Sennheiser MKH416. And this microphone is widely used in professional film broadcast settings. And it's really meant to excel in noisier environments, but it reduces all that extra noise because it's directional points. It just records what it's pointing at for the most part. It's not cheap for sure. It's let me see, it's about $1,000, but you pay for quality. So check that out. Another cheaper option is the Rode NTG 4 Plus. I really like this one. Rode seems to come up a lot in this this topic. And let me look up the price on this one real quick. It runs $400, but really cool. It has some buttons right on it, so you can control some cutoff levels and high pass filter pad, some of that stuff right on top of it. It's not too big. It's kind of a good balance in size, and the buttons are kind of indented, so you won't accidentally press them too. And the battery lasts a really long time. I don't know. I think it looks cool. So that would be a good option, I think, for kind of a starter shotgun mic. Maybe not the cheapest starter option, but it's not the most expensive either. And this one is not technically a shotgun mic. It's a hypercardioid microphone. It's the Audio-Technica AT4053B. And I really like this one. So shotgun mics tend to sound echoey or boomy when used indoors and kind of places with lots of reflection. So these hypercardioid microphones are directional, and they don't really pick up all that those sound waves bouncing off the walls. So they're perfect to use indoors. And this Audio-Technica 4053, it comes with a hypercardioid capsule, but you can actually change it to you have to purchase them separately, but you can change it to cardioid or omnidirectional. So you kind of get some nice flexibility of pickup patterns depending on what you're doing, what your space is like. So I like the flexibility. This one, let me pull it up for you. It is $600, so not cheap, but definitely kind of an industry standard. It's excellent for recording voice, and that's what it's designed for. It has a 80 hertz high pass filter, a 10 decibel pad. It's a great option for kind of sit down interviews where you'll have it mounted to something. So if you have something planned, it's an awesome option. We have some more accessories. I listed a stand. Actually, I have it sitting right next to me here. It's called the Gator Frameworks Tripod Microphone Stand with Boom Arm. So it has a removable, I'm going to turn over here and look at it. It's a removable boom arm, so you can use it handheld if you want. You can use it with the tripod. I actually have a studio mic hooked up to it, and it's awesome. It has a ton of little kind of secure latch points. It has mic routing clips, kind of red tipped feet, so people see it, don't trip over it, which definitely happens. So those little touches really add up to make it a really high quality stand. And you might need to get some sandbags to kind of put on the feet if you use some heavier microphones, because it can tip over. I have a Rode NT1 hooked up to it, and if it's standing up too high, it'll get top heavy. So just a thought there. Almost spilled my coffee. Next is kind of a handheld pistol grip. So it's the Rode PG2-R. And just so you know, shotgun mics are really susceptible to handling noise. So you don't want to hold them in your hand. You want them to be attached to a shock mount so that they only pick up what they're supposed to pick up. And this is an awesome accessory. You just kind of clip your shotgun mic in there, and you can hold it in your hand, or you can attach it to a boom pole, like I mentioned before. There's kind of options are endless as far as that goes. And then if you're outside, or you're going to be moving the microphone around, or you have like someone who's going to move it for you, you are going to want a windscreen. So I list a couple. There's Rode makes a couple high quality ones here, the WS6 and WS7 for different lengths of shotgun mics. And they also make the Rode Blimp, which is a pistol grip and like a big enclosing thing. You probably see them all the time in kind of professional level recording, because they really reduce that movement, wind sound, all that stuff. So you'll even see them on like race tracks, things like that, where there's a lot of wind. So not cheap. Let me look this one up, because this is $300 for kind of the kit, but high quality. It'll last, and it'll keep that wind, any sound you don't want, it'll keep it out. So worth it if you're doing a lot of that. And then I have some other options, some on-camera shotgun mics that are great for kind of run and gun video recording. But you can also, what's really cool is you can mount them separately to a boom pole if you're doing kind of a sit-down interview mic. So you can get instead of mounting the microphone to your camera, you can mount it to a boom pole closer to your subject, just out of the frame, and you'll just need an extension cable to plug into your camera or to an audio recorder or something like that, and it can be used as a boom, kind of a separate boom mic. So I like the flexibility of these so-called on-camera shotgun mics, but they can be used off-camera as well. So the newest one that just came out a few months ago, I think, is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. This is their best model. They kind of tweaked a lot of things. It uses a rechargeable battery, but you can also put in AA batteries. It has a safety track, so it'll record a different level that's lower in case someone clips, which is really nice. It has auto power on and off. Controls are easy to access. It's awesome. It's $300, so not cheap, but the versatility and the functionality really makes it just top notch. And kind of the closest competitor to that is the Shure VP83F lens hopper. And this one can be used without a camera or an audio recorder, because it has a micro SD card, so you can actually use it separately, which is pretty cool. And it has a really fine gain control in 1 decibel increments, so you can nail down the perfect levels that you need, which is awesome as well. So those are the kind of 2 best options there. And then we're going to move down to lavalier mics. There's a ton of these, so we'll just kind of run through them. Sony ECM77B is a really popular industry standard mic for interviewing. connects with an XLR cable, and can use AA batteries or phantom power. For that, it's an omnidirectional condenser mic. The Rode SmartLav is a headphone jack plug, so TRRS, and it's meant to be used with a smartphone, even though most of those are losing their headphone jacks. You can always use the adapters into the lightning to headphone adapter or whatever phone you have. Usually comes with those. So, or you can even get an adapter from that size, the TRRS headphone jack, into a TRS jack, which is used in other devices like cameras and audio recorders. So, just because it's meant for smartphone doesn't mean you can't use it with other devices. And then a cheaper one, and I actually really like this one. It's about $30. It's the Audio-Technica ATR 3350 IS, and it comes with a little adapter, so you can use it with a smartphone or with an audio recorder. It lets you use both sides. It uses a battery, so you'll probably want to pick up some extra batteries if you get this. Comes with a clip. It's I think it sounds pretty good for a $30 lavalier mic. Lots of functionality, flexibility, so pretty cool. I know a lot of people who just pick up like 3 or 4 of these just to have backups. And then rounding out the options here is kind of similar to one I mentioned before. It's the RodeLink Filmmaker Kit instead of the News Shooter Kit. And this one comes with the lavalier microphone instead of the connection that goes into the interview microphone. So basically the same idea. You can plug it into camera, a audio recorder, a field recorder, something like that. And then someone will have a little belt clip that the lavalier microphone goes into. And so you'll have someone who can be recorded wirelessly. Awesome little kit for $400. I think the microphone itself normally runs almost that much. So I think that's one of the best values in kind of the wireless lavalier mic world. Highly recommend those kits, and you can get a couple of them too if you want. You just need to make sure you have one receiver and one transmitter. They go together. So if you get 2 devices, you'll need 2 transmitters and 2 receivers. So, yep, that rounds out our interview microphones. A couple options there, maybe more than a couple, but hopefully that was useful to you. And if you want to check out some more details, be sure to go to setsailpodcast.com/11, and you'll be able to check all these out. And lastly, if you haven't done so already, I would love if you would leave a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this podcast and other podcasts. So that'd be awesome. It'll help us reach more people, get more visibility, and the feedback is very useful as well. And if you leave your name and maybe your podcast or website, I can give you a shout out in a future episode. So I will thank you. Thank you in advance for that, and I'll see you in episode 12.